And welcome back to The Unscripted Show, a show where high school students work hard to achieve something larger than life. In this episode, we'll sit down with some successful teenagers who are paving their own way in our community. So with that, sit back, relax, and enjoy our show. Thank you.
All right, welcome back to another episode of The Unscripted Show. I'm your host, Maahir Murad, and today we have two very inspirational guests with us. Our first guest is Tanvi Patil.
Hello.
And our second guest is Urjoshi.
Hi.
So, what they're doing it's insanely impressive. So if you could just tell the audience what you guys have been doing, what impact you've been making in the society as high schoolers.
So we've co-founded a movement called Unchained, the key to end modern slavery. And basically what our main purpose is to spread awareness against human trafficking, because with a problem like human trafficking, that's really the most important step that someone can take. And also because here in the area, it's actually way more prevalent than a lot of people may think.
Mm-hmm. And our main goal is to spread awareness. So we feel that if we can incite action in other people, we can get them to physically involve themselves with our movement Unchained and actively help stop human trafficking.
Okay, what made you guys start this movement?
So I think about 2 years ago, one of our family friends, their daughter was in a situation where she was about to be in a trafficking situation, and the police found her on the border of Mexico about to get into that kind of a situation. And what was alarming to us and really surprising to us was that no one really knew about it when it happened here in the Alpharetta area.
In Alpharetta.
Yeah. So we were really surprised by that. So we did some more research, and Atlanta is actually one of the top 4 cities where trafficking is reported.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and we did an event once in Metro Atlanta, which is the main center for it. And someone when we asked them do you really know what it is? And no one could really define it, which was also really alarming to us. So that was what really started us wanting to do it.
So we feel that a lot of people know oh, I know what human trafficking is. I can define oh, human trafficking is this. But when they have the signs right in front of them and they still can't recognize them.
So what is your definition for human trafficking?
Well, I think human trafficking is in any situation when someone is physically or forced into something they don't want to do. So it doesn't have to be sexual. It's also a mental thing, and it's something. It's kind of hard to define because
the dictionary definition you might a lot of people might be able to define really, but what we really want to spread awareness about is that it could be anyone you see on a regular day. They don't look different from everybody else, and being able to recognize the signs is it's not a lot of times people might dismiss it as just they're just acting a little weird. But being able to actually recognize it is what we want people to be able to do.
So if you could tell me more about Unchained and what you guys are trying to do with that. Your movement you've had on Instagram and your keys and all that stuff.
Okay, yeah. So we have a key campaign. As you can see, we're both wearing our keys. So our name is Unchained. As you can see, we have the keys to break the chain of human slavery. And our movement is the key to end modern slavery, because human trafficking is modern slavery in a way. So that's why we have our movement. And as she mentioned earlier, in Metro Atlanta, we had a hype youth conference that we attended, and we gave out all these keys to all of our peers, children, also officers, sergeants, SWAT team members, and we were able to help spread awareness. So we hope that when someone sees our keys and they ask, "Oh, where'd you get that from?" that they mention Unchained and what our movement is all about.
And so you guys you heard of your incident 2 years ago. When did you guys start Unchained?
We started Unchained about 5-6 months ago, but we did start spreading awareness at a lower scale from when we about 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago, when all this had just happened. We started off in our own high schools and through our local HOSA and FBLA chapters, which if you want.
I could talk more about HOSA and FBLA.
Yeah, just if people who don't know what it is.
In our high school, Alpharetta High School, FBLA is the largest student organization, and HOSA is second, I think. And so FBLA stands for Future Business Leaders of America, and basically it's about people working together and working with people in their high school and also in different high schools to compete in events business events like marketing or entrepreneurship. And they can compete at state levels and national levels and get to know people from around the world, because at national levels, we have people come in from China and Haiti and South Korea, and it's really cool because it's a whole community of a bunch of people that are just trying to have fun and learn more about business.
Yeah, and HOSA is kind of the same where you compete in different events, but it's more based around medical things and people who aspire to be healthcare professionals in the future. And because our school, Alpharetta High School, is the biggest FBLA chapter in the nation and the second biggest HOSA chapter in the state, it was one of the first platforms we used to make our influence more widespread.
So after 2 years ago when this happened, you at a personal level, you started fighting human trafficking.
Yes.
And now when you were given this platform to talk more, to spread more awareness, you guys created Unchained.
Yes.
So who's on your team?
Okay, so it's Urjoshi, Tanvi Patil, and my sister, Trisha Patil.
And my sister, Archika Carr. And we're actually two sets of twins.
Okay.
Yeah. So we think that we're pretty unique.
I think that's a good attention-grabbing factor.
And so have you guys increased your team since 5-6 months ago?
I think 5-6 months ago, we didn't have all four of us. It was kind of just like me and my sister were just when we first realized it and we thought we have to do something about it. Yeah. And then a little later we met Tanvi and Trisha and we realized we're very similar and that we have similar goals and we're all good activists and advocates for what we believe in. So it was much easier to do it with all four of us.
And so I want to talk about a second for Atlanta being one of the big four for human trafficking. If you could just go in detail about that.
Yeah.
It's crazy how it's 2020 and we still have this as an issue, you know?
Yeah.
So I think part of the main reason Atlanta is one of the top four is just because it's a huge city and people don't really get to know each other as compared to like small towns. So we have we have victims that are part of human trafficking who don't have anyone to speak to about it. And they don't even realize that they're in this kind of situation that they need to physically get out of. So I feel like Atlanta being one of these fast-moving, fast-paced cities, it really contributes to the fact that people feel more isolated.
It also has the largest airport, or the most used airport.
Yeah,
Yes,
Hartsfield Jackson Airport.
Yeah.
That's like the main reason why Atlanta is so big. Yeah. And we actually did an event with a anti-human trafficking organization we partnered with called Out of Darkness. They're really cool. They have like safe houses and events that they do to go out and stop human trafficking, like online and in person. And one of the events we were able to participate in was called Princess Night. And we actually went down to Atlanta and gave flowers and cards and roses and prayed with the women we saw there. And they also had like lipsticks, and the barcode number was like a number that the victims could call to be rescued. And it was just a really eye-opening experience for us that these women, they were like just like you and me, and some of them, they didn't want to be prayed for. They didn't want to accept anything. A lot of times it's because they're scared that they'll be seen by whoever is with them. But a lot of times it's because in human trafficking situations, which is another reason why awareness is so important, the person who's in the situation themselves, the victim, they don't want to be saved because a lot of times they feel like they're not worth it.
Yeah.
And they might be addicted to drugs or something like that.
And that's like part of the reason why it's called Princess Night. So these victims in our eyes are princesses who can choose to be saved or not. And we enforce that through our movement Unchained. And
So you guys are fighting human trafficking, and that's awesome. But if you could go more in detail on what specifically Unchained is doing,
Yes.
what your goal with that is, how that's been growing, and what you guys have been doing with that.
Yeah. So once we heard of Out of Darkness and other organizations that actively work to fight human trafficking, we wanted to volunteer and bring people from our FBLA and HOSA chapters and our school to help us too. But one of the only events that offers people that are 16 is Princess Night. So a lot of the other events, you have to be 18. So we decided that we would create our GoFundMe so people could donate to our GoFundMe, which would go directly to Out of Darkness. And so that would...
What is the goal of Unchained? What are you guys trying to do?
The main goal, what we're starting with right now, is because human trafficking, it's not a problem where someone could just be like, wow, it's a problem, let me go catch the trafficker. Not all of us can do that, you know? So the most important thing you can do is be educated and educate others. Because it can be happening to someone next to you. You have to know the difference between them having a bad day and them something bigger, something more weird, them possibly being in a trafficking situation.
I think a lot of people think that human trafficking is something that's foreign to them, something that's outside of their own community, and they have to realize that it's around them. And by choosing to ignore the signs, it's not going to help anything. So being open, being enlightened, just making sure that you're aware of it is the best way.
And not just reaching a big number of people with just facts or knowledge. We also want them to be reached and impacted to the degree that they actually take action. For example, donate to our GoFundMe, or also conducting a school-wide and community-wide drive for clothing and toiletries. Like at Alpharetta Presbyterian Church and Milton Library, there are boxes. And so for people to actually be donating to these things and taking action in every way that they can, that really shows us the degree to which we've impacted them.
And so with Unchained, you guys are raising awareness through your social media platform and you want GoFundMe, and you're using GoFundMe to raise money to help fight human trafficking as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so how did you guys go about raising your own Unchained campaign?
So actually, the first thing we started was the Key campaign, and we started it in school just a little bit. But I think a lot of people actually really liked these necklaces, and a lot of times they would ask, like she said before, Tanvi did, oh, that's like, where'd you get this? Yeah, what's the cute necklace? Where'd you get it? And it's like, oh, there's this anti-human trafficking movement.
Yeah, it's not just a stylish piece, you know?
Yeah. And then we started our GoFundMe. I think we started in January. And at first we were unsure.
Yeah. At first we were like, I don't know if we can make it to 1,000. We were like, okay, let's set the limit low, so if we don't make it, we don't look bad. You know what I mean? That's a lot of people try to do. But then we took a step back and we looked into it, and we were like, what do we really want to do? We want to raise awareness, which means we need to collect as much money as possible to donate to Out of Darkness. So by setting the limit to 1,000, we are almost at 900 right now, which is actually kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's been like a month, so that was really surprising
awesome.
for us. Yeah,
by setting the limit so high, like, it just shows like you can really do anything as long as you put your mind to it and have the resources available, which is mostly just your team members.
And so what started off with just like you four, right? How did you guys make specifically your platform bigger, right?
Yeah, well, we did it digitally and in bigger events. So we have our Instagram and our website.
Yeah, so our Instagram is Unchained.2020, sorry. So follow us, you know, it takes a minute to follow us, but like the amount of impact we can have in our lives is a lot, because we post a lot about daily facts about human trafficking and signs about human trafficking, and
and participating in bigger events, meaning we've partnered with people and other organizations that are bigger and have helped us. And specifically, we did an event called the Hype Youth Conference, which was done by the Fulton County Sheriff's Office in downtown Atlanta, and we met the sheriff there, and we got in contact with Sergeant Price, who's community outreach, and they really helped us make our platform bigger and get bigger influence.
So you said partnered. Could you like go into detail on like how you guys would approach people? And
So about 2 years ago we started like reaching out to Out of Darkness,
which
and
is mainly
like that,
by emailing and calling, and as we all know, people don't respond to emails, so you have to continuously email them. And it's hard to like keep motivation when people don't respond, but you realize that that's just one person. There are so many other people out there that are willing to help you with your movement. And so what we did was we persevered, we kept emailing people.
And a lot of times if you email the same organization but through a different person, they'll give you a different answer. So you just got to keep trying.
So you guys didn't give up?
No,
we
just kept
all
going.
our names.
And another thing
we went all through it.
Well, another thing we thought was surprising was we wanted to talk about this in middle schools too, because 12 to 14, 13 through 16 is like the biggest industry for the sex industry. And so we reached out to middle schools, and we were surprised that they answered back saying that it was too mature of a topic.
That was kind of a shocker. We emailed 2 middle schools, and both of them said that they weren't able to give us opportunity to go speak to their middle schoolers, which was kind of like we had to take a step back from that and be like, that's okay, because being younger,
but it is like the biggest industry, so we're gonna keep reaching out to other middle schools.
Wait, so the middle school said no, even though the biggest target
is
middles like that. It's crazy.
It's not too much of a topic. That's another thing we're doing with Unchained. Like, it's not like hush hush for people who are 12 or younger, like that's the biggest part of society that needs to know.
So if you want to take a minute and just promote your page to like our platform, to our audiences, talk about what you're doing, and we'll also put your GoFundMe link in our description below so people can raise awareness and donate to that. But go ahead.
Oh, okay. So Unchained is our way of contributing to our society, and by attacking a big problem that's been plaguing our lives for a long time, but people refuse to acknowledge it. So human trafficking has always been an issue that's really hard to tackle, something that seems more abstract than it is tangible. So we feel that by donating to our GoFundMe or just by following our Instagram, that you can do so much. You can just feel like a better person, you know?
Yeah. And it's not something like, oh, human trafficking, that sounds like something that will happen across the world or in somewhere like California even, but not here. But it could happen to anyone. Like even in counties around here, like Forsyth and Gwinnett, like it's not something that's never happened. It could be you, it could be the person next door to you, it could be anyone. And it's really a danger that's prevalent to everyone who lives here.
Yeah.
And so we've talked about human trafficking and how you guys are fighting that, which is crazy impressive. But now I want to shift over to just high schoolers, because the average high schooler, right, they're not fighting human trafficking. They're not doing much, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so what advice do you have to give to them, to people who want to start something, who want to have an impact on their society and in their life? What would you say to them?
Okay, I would say to get off TikTok. I know it's hard. I know it's really hard. I'm personally kind of addicted to it. I watch a lot of it. But when you think about it, none of that is going to matter in a few years. And I think you should put more efforts into doing something that you believe in that'll stick with you when you're older.
And
go ahead.
You might think, oh, I'm busy today, I have to do this and this by tomorrow, I have this test, I have all this homework, or I have like this game, but you're always going to have something tomorrow. Tomorrow is not going to be like, oh, tomorrow's like a free day. Like you're never going to have that once you're at this age. You're always going to be busy. You just have to start it now, because the next day is just going to be even more busy.
Yeah.
And just keep persevering.
So you said TikTok. Have you guys tried using TikTok as a platform for Unchained?
We actually haven't, but that would be a good idea. We'll look into that.
TikTok is definitely like the most popular thing that everyone our age is using nowadays. So it's like
and where do you guys want to take Unchained? What are your like future plans?
Well, right now we're kind of just going day by day, trying to process everything that's happening. But we would like to just continue and working with it, because as you continue with the project, sometimes you lose the motivation or you lose the eagerness that you had in the beginning. So we hope to just like continue that throughout our high school career and hopefully into our later parts of our lives. Yeah.
And working with human trafficking and a problem like this, there's often a lot of age restrictions that we have to face. So I think in the future, when we're older, and however much we can do now by partnering with other people, we want to at some point be able to be one of the organizations that can like make a safe house.
Yeah.
Right now, all we can do is connect people to safe houses. We're pending approval to be a 501c nonprofit. So
So we hope that right now we're looking into other organizations to partner with them, but we hope that further into our career and our movement that we can be that organization that people that are new, that are trying to do something with their lives and help make an impact, can partner with.
And so that we can actually enable people in our community to be more directly involved, not just through other organizations, but giving them those opportunities to actually see the rescue teams and things like that through our own organization.
That's a big aspiration. I wish you like best of luck with that.
Thank you.
So what other things are you guys is in store for Unchained? Like not future wise, but your impact. What is your impact right now? Because I know you guys are raising awareness, but how is your impact looking?
Yeah, other than our GoFundMe, which you said, we're in the midst of holding this GoFundMe, donating $1,000 to Middle Georgia Out of Darkness. But we also have the drive that we're doing, which is going directly to safe houses of victims of human trafficking and survivors of human trafficking, and clothing, toiletries, all that kind of stuff. We're going to be giving that to them, which is another one of our bigger impacts.
And we're partnering with other nonprofits in our community that are also built by high school students.
Okay.
And we hope that like by working together, we can encourage other high schoolers to see that like it's not something that's hard to do. It's just something that requires a little bit of effort. And when you put effort into it, you can make it happen.
And going back to how you guys just kept on sending emails, I think that's a key amazing characteristic to have, where you will keep on fighting, you'll keep on persevering. And so before we wrap up, do you guys have any advice you would like to give out to people either about human trafficking or people trying to do something with their own lives, trying to make an impact?
If you have something that you think is a problem that's going on, if you think there's something that you need to fix, don't put it off for the next day, or don't be scared to just not get an answer or not get a reply. Like that's definitely going to happen. You can't email like the mayor and expect to get a reply and get in contact with him immediately, just emailing him one time and partnering with them. Like that's not how it works. You're going to get shot down, you're going to get ignored, but in a way that's going to help you in the long run. You have to keep trying and keep persevering.
Yeah. We just hope to inspire everyone to try their best to make an impact anywhere they can. So anything, it doesn't have to be human trafficking. It could be anything that you see as an issue. And we just hope that people will take inspiration from us.
And it's not your age that's going to restrict you just because you're in high school now. Like, you're not just a kid and like you're like, it's as important right now. Like, you're the future generation is like in your hands.
We're 16. Okay. I don't think we look much older than 16. So if we can do it, I'm pretty sure that anyone that watches this and feels some inspiration to do something will also.
So with that, I'm going to wrap it up by saying that today we talked with 2 people from the Unchained organization. They talked about how as high schoolers, at 16 years old, they're fighting human trafficking, they're raising awareness, and they're taking an initiative in their lives to do something bigger. And if you feel the need that you want to do something within your own life, just start. If something's missing, just start working on it, take initiative. And with that, thank you. This was really, really inspirational. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
And that's our show. Thank you so much for listening. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. We'll be back every Tuesday with more content to keep you going on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Thanks again, and always remember to live unscripted.